If you tried starting your own online business before and have had flop after flop after flop, and you're wondering how you can actually better prepare yourself so that the next time you try something, you actually don't flop again, this video is for you. And see, in this video, I'm pretty much going over the simple math of how you can actually make 3K a month as a beginner setter without much experience, and what that math specifically looks like so that you can earn and learn while you're actually going through this whole process. And the reason why I'm talking about this specifically, especially if you don't want your business to flop again, the way you better prepare yourself in order to start a better business is by learning skills and learning the inside of a business that you actually want to create, or how a successful business actually operates. The best way to kind of get into an online business, for a lot of times, it's a simple position that's an entry position like an appointment setter. And so in there, you get to learn all these different skills and learn how the business actually operates to better prepare yourself to actually have something of your own one day. To be at that point, you get to learn the inside of a business while also making money, because this isn't something where like you're going into college where you have to take on a lot of debt to then learn something but not make any money in the meantime, because you probably have bills, you probably have responsibilities and whatnot. But in this situation, think of it as kind of like an internship. You're working inside of a place, you're getting paid to do that based on the results that you're learning. You're learning and growing and getting better at this skill so that eventually, at a certain point, whether you want to stay with that company or whether you still have that burning passion in yourself that you want to start something on your own, and you will be able to actually do that. And that's something that I've been able to do. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. So whenever I'm saying like just 3K a month, most people can think, whoa, that's kind of a lot, or maybe they're just hitting for the 10K a month. Well, I'm just going to let you know, if you want to hit the 10K a month, you're going to have to hit 3K a month at least at some point. So one thing is that this is actually something that a beginner setter can actually do, and it actually can strive for it as their first goal, which is not that hard, to be honest with you. And I was able to achieve it. Let's just break it down like this. Let's just aim for a simple goal of not booking 10 to 15 calls a day. That's kind of wild and kind of over high achieving. But for a beginner, let's go for 2 to 3. And so the way how the system really works is that when appointment setting, you're booking a call for their sales team so that at that point you get commission based on whatever sales calls actually close. So let's say you're booking 3 calls a day, just as a beginner stat. And typically commission could go to 5 to 7%. Let's just stick with 5% for now. Let's say the program that you're actually selling and what the business is actually doing is about $3,000. So for every single sale that you get that actually turns into a close, you get $150 for it. Now, let's say you just aim for 2 to 3 calls a day, which isn't crazy output. It's just something consistent that you can do, especially if there's good lead flow. And so that's about 60 to 90 calls that you can at least book within a month. And so that's not a crazy number. That's just being very consistent on a daily basis. Now, sales teams, this is typically like on the lower end, typically close 20 to 30% of those calls. And that's not a high-end percentage by all means. Like for me, when I was starting out, my percentage was 18%, then getting to 20%, and then 20 to 30% like average. Right now, I'm probably around 40% right now because I've just gotten a lot better at it. So since the sales team typically closes 20 to 30%, kind of on the low end, let's just stick with that for now. Then with that, from those 90 calls that you, let's say, book, at that point, that will result in 18 to 27 closed calls. At $150 per sale, that's around $2,700 to $4,050. Now, that is a big range, yes, but it's also dependent on how well you're actually doing. And the thing is, it even goes above 3K at that point. And even at the lowest rate, you get right to the cusp of 2.7K a month. And that's straight commission, straight towards you. And at that point, in most businesses, you didn't have to cold call. You didn't have to hop on the phone and sell to people. You didn't have to talk to people for an hour. This is you mostly typing to people on your phone through Instagram, through LinkedIn, through TikTok, through Twitter, whatever the case is. Like, that's mostly what you're doing. And breaking down all this map, this is just a simple way for you to actually not just earn a living. Obviously, for most cases these days, you probably need to earn a little bit more. Of course, I get that. But this is just what I call a gateway skill. Because not only is this skill, it's simple. Doesn't mean it's easy at the end of the day. It's simple to learn. And at the same time, it actually earns you a living, so that it's kind of like a paid internship where you're learning all these different skills so that you could better prepare yourself for the future, but also learning the psychology, learning the sales, doing everything you need to know so that you can better be prepared for your own offer in the future. And at the same time, it opens doors to other things. Because, for instance, let's say you're good at setting. Let's say I've had days consistently sometimes where I booked 6 calls per day. And that didn't happen over a week. That happened like maybe 3 times out of the week sometimes. And that was really good. And that bumped it from like not even 90 calls that month, but like even a little bit higher. And at that point, I had more chances to earn more. And I was getting better and better and better as a setter, to that point where, since I'm working in a small business, since I'm working with an entrepreneur, he's like, oh, this guy has promise. And then I'm open to learning other things as well because I want to better prepare myself. He opened doors to allow me to learn content, which I'm not going to say that's directly going to happen to you, but definitely possible. And I started learning more about the marketing. I started learning all of that on top of setting. So I got to be connected to both of these things and understand like the sales psychology, the marketing psychology, and then infuse that a little bit more with the words that I'm actually saying to these people, which in turn got me better at being a setter. And then that can open doors to anything else as well. Because the main thing for you, if you want to make sure that you have the best possible chance for you not to flop again, is you got to learn, you got to pivot, you got to do things differently, and you got to learn the skills that are necessary. And that's what I've had to humble myself to do, because I've was the person who just wants to do everything myself, wants to make sure I know everything and like just do everything myself, and I don't really need to learn or whatever. I could just get started doing a business because that's what everyone's selling you. But I had to come to the hard reality of like, I don't really have any skills right now. Like, sure, I have some knowledge, but like how to display that knowledge, how to actually walk people through the sales process, how to make compelling marketing, how to actually make a program that actually does effective things for people. I didn't know any of that. But where you get that is by working inside of a place, inside of a company that's already operational, that's already working, that's already profitable, so that you could take the things that they've learned and already kind of jumpstart your own journey at that point. And walking through this math, it's not that difficult. And even as a beginner, 1 to 2 calls a day, sure, that won't get you to $3K a month. Sure. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about a really low offer. Like $3,000 when it comes to high ticket anything, that's not high at all. And when talking about high tickets, typically 5K and above, you're going to make you don't even have to close that many calls to actually make just 3K at that point. Like, it's so much more lucrative at that point. And the opportunity just gets up there because your income is really dependent on your skill, not just the time that you're devoting to this workplace. And that's kind of the major key that you need to know, and I need to know as future business owners, is because we don't get paid as business owners by how much time we spend on a product to how much time we spend on a person. Typically, no. We get paid based on the skill that we're actually able to employ and how good we are at that. We get paid by how many sales we are able to acquire. We get paid by how many people we're able to take through our program and our offer to actually give them results so that we can get a testimonial to get more people. That's how we actually make an income, not through an hourly rate like how most people are accustomed to. It's by how much results that we actually provide. And you get to learn that fundamental lesson as an appointment setter. And that's a fundamental lesson I've had to learn, which is super, super key in order for us to succeed. And I just wanted to kind of lay out all of this math for you to make sure that you understand, like, this is possible. It really is. And I don't want to just leave you with that, like the opportunity and all that jazz. So I do have a free course that's on Notion, right? It's going through all of my story. How can you actually get started as an appointment setter? What are the skills that you actually need to learn? The frameworks that I actually use having these conversations and understanding how to take a person from interested to an actual booked call at the end of the day. And that's how I've been able to book hundreds, I don't know, maybe even thousands of calls over the past couple years for me. And they've actually worked. And then also how you can actually practice the skill. What are some things that you need to do? And kind of like the first steps you need to take. And all of that is just for free. I'm going to put that in the description. And that's a free resource just available for you, in all honesty. And I want to make something more in-depth for you so you can actually learn, build a community, have some people that you can actually learn from, the perfect resources that are available to you so that you can be the very best setter and actually have the opportunity to place yourself inside of a business, to learn more and all that jazz. I want to create all of that. But for at least right now, that's what I got. So I want to give that freely to you. Just go ahead and click the link in the description. And I love you guys. I really, really do. And I believe in you because I know you have a drive just like me. And you want to impact people's lives. And you don't want to just fail again. And what I would say is that the best way to really learn is by going through a business and learning from them first so that you can be much better prepared to have something of your own. All right. Love you. Have a good one.